Episode number 439.
There's a lot to people's connection with their stuff. And how do you disconnect without there being discomfort, right? How do you get them to let go of things that maybe they've been very proud to have accumulated?
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. Folks, I hope you guys are having a great day, ready to get a little fuego in your days, nights, weekends, or whenever you are listening to the show today. But after this show, folks, I think you're going to feel a lot better about what you are doing in your life, in your home, in your business, in downsizing and organizing and moving. And the bottom line is a lot of us are living in chaos. Too much stuff, clutter, issues with someone passes and what to do with all this stuff. I know that's something my dad has talked to me about with his mom, my grandma. What to do with all this stuff? You put it all on eBay. Do you have an estate sale? So many questions to be asked, and many times part of that is it's after the fact. It's not a matter of you're not doing this with intention with your own good. Part of why I started my eBay business was like, I can't keep all these damn autographs. I collected these since I was a kid, thousands of autographs sitting in folders, don't mean nothing to me. Take the ones that matter, that have my name on them, put them in things, put them on the walls, keep them inspired, but then sell all the rest, put them on eBay. Same thing with all my sports cards. Hey, sell these things, put them on eBay, let's just get the opportunity. And then many times, drop it off at the Goodwill. Drop it off with somebody. Many times now you have other ways to get rid of things. Facebook groups and so many different ways to sell things. Whatnot, which is a live auction site, guys, which I'm a huge supporter of and a fan of, has estate sales. You can go, people are live right now on their live across the world. They're joining your estate sale and they come to you instead of you having to come to them, introducing you to buyers across the world. Bottom line is, it's a big problem. And we see shows about it. You see the Hoarder Show, which is a hilarious show. It's hilarious because people think all this stuff has value, yet it's rotting in front of their house or certain situations. But we can't deny the emotional attachments that come to these things. And that's where we come to you, my friend. Before we get into the business, were you always into organizing? Were you always into cleaning, even as a kid?
Yeah, I started out babysitting for about 15 families when I was in high school. And they would come home and all the cans in the cupboards would be turned a certain way and all the dishes put away and all the toys put up. And, so I just always, I think, inherently did it. Mm-hmm. That's how I ended up with so many families because, you start doing that and the moms are like, hey, you got to have this girl come on over. You get home and not only did she watch your kids, but your whole house back to,
you're like, holy shit, this is awesome. Let's do this.
Yeah. I got a lot of word of mouth back in the day for that. And it paid off. I got paid really well. If you can add those kind of services when you're a kid to your babysitting, people pay you more.
Oh, yeah. And
so I was making top dollar. Yeah.
It makes sense. Now, like, it's hard to get babysitters to come for $20 an hour and they're on their phones and, they don't want to even be here,
Well, I was making that 30 years ago. So because I was doubling down, I was
right.
Other skills. So,
right. Yeah. The bottom line is like you said, you add on to you, the customer's experience, just like they do at the hair place now. It's they call it sports clips. It's kind of a guy's sports cut. They give you a little tea tree oil and make you feel a little special for a moment, adding just a little bit more of that personalized experience to your already, because most guys never go to a spa, never do a little tea tree oil in the hair, et cetera, right? So it's just fascinating and interesting. I think we might be having issues with Zoom. Taking me into you when you were a kid, you were always adding on these services. You were always upgrading, these people's lives. And it's kind of like the same, like I said, about when you go to a haircut. Now the sports clips, they got the upgraded services. They got the, things that guys never did for themselves, just right there on an add-on, just right there within your time, 2 seconds longer. And your experience is a lot more fulfilled and also brand loyalty, higher brand loyalty.
Sure.
Let's bring in the fact of people's houses. When did that become something that you became interested in? Because I think it's fascinating. I think that people are probably have a lot of more assets than they realize, you know?
Oh,
And
sure.
I think that there should be a lot of conversation about taking some of these things, organizing them, giving them away, and then selling some of them to get more liquidity or cash back into their lives. So they don't have more stuff that's just sitting around, but they have more kind of cash that they can enjoy, take a vacation, do something out, take that, bag that wasn't meaning anything to you and cash out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's something to it though, So talk to me about that, Jen, because I was always
Sure.
interested in organizing. When did this become a business for you? When did this become something that you actually turned into a business?
Well, like I said, I started out with it as part of my original business with babysitting. But I think once I graduated college, I had corporate jobs for a while. But when it really became a business was in 2006. So it was after I had done my corporate gigs. I'd moved around the country a little bit. I've seen a few things. I had my daughter, and she was 5 or 6 years old, and they start getting really busy. And I thought, I don't want to be in a corporate situation. I want to be where I have flexibility in my schedule. And I really made a list. I sat down and I made a list of all the things I like to do. And that's really what it became.
Nice.
I thought, you know what, the flexibility, the pay, the ability that I have, God-given ability, but also was raised by a mom who, there were always lines in the carpet growing up because it had to be pristine. So I was used to that environment, and I was good at creating it for people and helping them figure out how to create it and maintain it. So that's really where it started. So I had moved back to Michigan at the time. I'd lived in other states, and I came back and I reached out to clients that I'd had back in the day that I had worked for. And I said, look, this is what I'm going to start doing full time. And they said, come on over and we'll tell our friends. So
nice.
So that worked out great for me, gave me the flexibility that I needed, gave me a really great income. And I just kept learning. I'm a perpetual student anyway. So I took additional psychology classes, all kinds of things, because as you mentioned, there's a lot to people's connection with their stuff. And how do you disconnect without there being discomfort? Right? How do you get them to let go of things that maybe they've been very proud to have accumulated, right? The whole mindset in the United States is whoever dies with the most toys wins, right? So, it's how do you break that a little bit as people are maybe aging and going into smaller spaces, or even making the choice, because now we have minimalism and essentialism and all these books that have come out, Joshua Becker's book, Becoming Minimalist, the Minimalist Podcast, all these other groups that are really talking to people about having less. So the mindset is shifting in addition to people aging out. So there's a lot of that trajectory, right? Heading into having fewer things and making more memories, taking that and using your liquidity to do other things. So that's really what it's grown to. And so over the course of that time, I documented a lot of things that I learned. I actually, as you mentioned, the show Hoarders earlier, I'd been on that show.
Wow.
I did that show in 2011.
Wow. That's awesome, Jen.
Yes. So I've worked with hoarders. I've worked the gamut really of any sort of home situation, whether it's downsizing, moving, relocation. I've worked with the military to move people. They're the most fun to move because let me tell you, those guys are organized.
Oh, I bet.
They organize to mobilize, they are ready to move to their next destination and they have it all mapped. So it's real fun to do those. But you name it, I've seen it. So it's been a real, learning experience. But what it's distilled down to in collecting all of that up is I wrote a book this last year. I started it during COVID, and it's just finishing with the editors now, finally.
Let's go.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's kind of tales from the front, right? The different stories and things I've encountered, but also like the moral of the story is, and what does it mean to you kind of thing. So it's a little bit of a story and a little bit of workbook and kind of doing some work for yourself too, as you go through it. So I kind of built it that way to help people just see some real concrete, real life examples so that they're not just operating in a vacuum of someone saying you should do it this way. Right. Because it's a little bit different for everybody. Getting organized is very different, and everybody's perspective is different.
Yeah. Some people want it alphabetically organized, and some people just want it just that they're sitting there.
Well, and there's a lot of, with social media now, there's a lot of people that think that if you put everything into a plastic container with a label on it, that means you're organized. It doesn't matter that stuff you have. And, I think that's a big mistake. Personally, I can be controversial that way, but I think that reducing what you have before you go buying containers to put it in is just
Totally.
the number one thing.
Totally. That's the number one play. Just like if it doesn't, like that one, what was that lady? What that she?
Marie Kondo. Yeah. She says like, if it doesn't bring you joy, right?
Yeah. Like if you don't touch this thing, or if you haven't like played with it for a year, or like whatever, like if it's not relevant, just let it go. You know?
Yeah. She's terrific, but she even admitted as she had more children, she didn't have time to keep up what she was telling people.
I can only imagine. Kids are crazy. I mean, it's wildness. It's wildness.
It's totally different to developmentally with your children, to see what you can have them help with, and to try to move the task to them as opposed to being the parent doing it all, right? Because we have so many parents that try to do that and they're exhausted. Yeah. And there's a way to, start to take those tasks at very young ages and teach them to your children and impart them and get them to do them habitually, so that like when they leave for college, they're not that roommate, right? Nobody wants that roommate.
No one wanted to live with.
Right, exactly. That can't keep
always cleaning up and always messing, always having to clean up for the person. They're always needing something. They're cluttering.
My daughter had one in college her freshman year that didn't take the garbage out the entire school year. Had never learned a basic skill. And it's frustrating to see as someone in my line of work. I at one point wrote a course called Real Life 101, and we were teaching it at Delaware Valley College back in Philadelphia area. One of the psychology profs and I wrote it. And we were working with the kids that were going to be graduating college to say, this is how you set yourself up for success in your life. Right. When you come out of here, it's not going to be a dorm room anymore. It's going to be an apartment. It's going to be a house. You're going to have a car. You're going to have, to apply for jobs. So I've really worked to take a lot of those just basic skills, distill them down and put them into the book. But there's
and you also have an app too. I was looking at.
Yeah, the app is. Oh my gosh, we
love Bigger. It's a new app, guys, that allows you guys to match services between downsizers and those to help assist them, and also local charities where you guys can help give, or they can help you kind of, you guys can help give these items to help serve the community. So you don't feel like it just goes in the garbage. A lot of times, people's worst failure is that the value that they have just goes to zero, gets thrown in the garbage. And sometimes some things need to go in the garbage. Let's be real. I was looking at your list here of goodies, guys. 100 lists of things. The old product boxes, those can all go in the garbage. Hangers from dry cleaners, those can go in the garbage. Old plastic hangers you're not using from stores, you can throw those away. Expired makeup, throw that away, guys. Half finished products, toss those. Old magazines, boom. That's only 6 things. And if everyone did that today, your house would be a little bit more organized.
Yeah, there's some very simple things you can do. That's my little, my quick and
low hanging fruit, low hanging fruit that you don't feel bad about.
Low hanging fruit,
yeah. You're just like, all right, cool. Expired makeup, toss it. Just get rid of this shit. No one cares about it. I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, and a lot of the and a lot of the companies like Mac takes back their cosmetic containers.
Right.
Aveda, I think, does as well. There are a number of them, but you can be conscious of that. You can do it in a sustainable way. Even with the hangers, you can take them to metal waste at your local recycling center. You can take them back. Some of the dry cleaners will take them back and reuse them. Mm-hmm. So, if you have the time and you really want to do it sustainably, you can. Right, but if not, at least get it out, because they're, hanging on to it's not serving you, and it's really just draining energy. Everything you have in your house is, I describe it like being a puppet to it, because you have strings attached to it. You have to store it, clean it,
right?
Dispose of it at some point, whatever, but move it around the house 10 times before you're finished with it. So, as some people do.
True.
But and even seasonally, you're taking it out, you're putting it back, you're buying it, store it. There's all kinds of strings attached to every single thing you purchase. So it's a matter of thinking about that before you make the purchase. Like, do I really want the inconvenience of this? And is it worth it to me? And then in addition, when I dispose of this, what am I going to do with it? And it's good to think of those things up front, because obviously, you think, okay, will I sell this or will I give it away? But it's nice to know the path, right, where it's going to take.
Yeah, make some piles, make 3 piles, guys. 1 pile sell, 1 pile giveaway, 1 pile garbage. I mean, that's my simplest one I've ever done.
It can be that simple.
A million different other strategies, but hey, there's some things you guys need to sell, because a lot of people in America or worldwide need money. There's a lot of bills are going up. Things cost more. They say the average, family, $400 is what they have what they have extra beyond their bills.
Right now. With the inflation rate. Sure.
You need to look around and maybe have $400 just sitting there in something you've never used. Add that back to your savings or invest it or whatever. Bottom line is,
Yeah.
it will make you feel better, but also you will capture back some of that sale. So I always think that too for everyone, because obviously I think there's a lot of money of just sitting in people's stuff. They don't even do anything with it, and then they can actually enjoy it.
Yeah, they
I
can.
love this. I absolutely love this. The topic, I think it's fascinating. And I would, everybody, please go to her website, cleansweepingconsulting.net, and check out her 100 things you can clear right now on her download PDF. I'm going to put the show notes for it, but also I'm looking through it right now. It's very, very useful, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Check it out. I'm gonna give it to my dad and my aunt and uncle for when they're talking about my grandma. So they
Yeah, for sure.
Start with the low hanging fruit. She won't feel bad about it, and then half the house will be clean before get through page one. Especially like bills and old paperwork. No one needs that stuff. It's all online. Throw it out. Let's go.
Yeah, and now the thing that helps with papers too is there's a lot of really simple scanning apps. So you can have like on your iPhone,
Absolutely.
You can take pictures of things and drop in folders right from there. And you can get rid of a lot of the paper clutter that you have. And I do it with a lot of my clients because they accumulate things. And some of them do like to keep a couple things in a folder.
Absolutely.
Not to say that you shouldn't or can't. But
important statements or certain important things. Absolutely.
You can reduce it down tremendously though.
To a file folder from boxes, guys. Let's get rid of the boxes and like old PG&E bills. Those, we don't need those anymore. No. Whatever it is, it's an old bill. Definitely toss that to start. But now, my friend, we're about to take you into our top 10. Are you ready?
Sure.
Apple or Android?
Oh, I can't do that right now. My app is launching on both.
Just going on both, guys. Netflix or YouTube if you're thinking about content?
Oh, wow. I love YouTube.
YouTube's so good because you can just learn so much stuff. You could
I'm an education junkie, so I learn a lot more there, I think.
Fascinating conversations on there. Instagram or Facebook for social?
I use both, but I like Instagram Reels a lot.
IG Reels to the moon. Chicken or steak if you're thinking about a good meal, or vegetarian, depending on the vibe.
Steak.
Let's go steak.
Less meat and potatoes.
Let's go. Laptop or smartphone for technology?
Oh, golly. When I'm working, my laptop, but I live on my phone. So phone, yes.
The phones are just every day they're getting better.
They are. I can do most things from there.
Taking over everything. Spotify or Pandora for music?
Oh, wow. Have both. Use my Pandora more, actually. Interesting.
Nice. The radio feature, kind of the randomness of it, maybe. The curated stations. They do a good job at that, too. Movies or video games?
Movies.
Movies. Reading books or listening to books?
Reading books. I love hardcover books.
Get the book. Do you ever mark them up, or do you ever?
I do.
Nice. Mark them up.
I do. I use a particular method for that too, which I could talk about. Yeah.
Mark it all the way up, folks. Stocks or real estate if you're thinking about investing?
Real estate.
Real estate. Oceans or lakes if you're thinking about vacation?
Lakes.
Lakes. What lake would you go to right now if you could go on vacation?
Michigan. Lake Michigan.
Or Michigan. And if you guys had not been to Lake Michigan, you feel like you are at an ocean, just so you guys know. And it says there's waves, baby. There's waves. When you're waking up in your day, Jen, you're getting yourself ready, pumped, energized to organize, change the world with the app, with the book. You're doing so many things which are awesome for the world, helping them declutter, helping them release this energy. I think in many ways, obviously you're doing many goods, but like I said, I think there's so much assets that people have that they can get some liquidity on. And then all of a sudden they got some cash to do other cool things with. And they need this motivation sometimes. So I appreciate you and what you do for the world. When you're waking up for your day, why do you love being you?
Why do I love being me? Well, because I have a very particular mission, obviously, and that is to help people get clear on what their mission is, right? So as I'm helping people get rid of their extra stuff, and a lot of times I am benefiting charities, benefiting people who are really in need. Right. So, I mean, it motivates me. It's a huge motivating factor, which with the app, I've tried to share with people, because the app is in particular for downsizers who want to benefit charities. And it shows them how they can, and we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun with it. Not to mention, we're going to be giving a lot of money to charities as well. So we're really excited about that. That wakes me up every morning, because that's an everyday thing for me. So
that's incredible, like an incredible connection, helping people that want to downsize with the charities that can help them. That's a plus on that connection right there. Do you think you'll ever retire from entrepreneurship, from downsizing, from helping people, being a creator and innovator?
Oh, absolutely not. And we have other businesses too. So
Let's go. We're not stopping.
These, I will be working at the other ones.
It's hard to stop, right? It's hard to stop as an entrepreneur.
We're serial entrepreneurs in this house. Yes.
So we eat cereal that's entrepreneurial, folks.
Yes,
we can't stop eating that cereal. That means that she's probably going to create another business in a year or two, and we're going to be feasting at that. And that's just how it is. That's just how the vibe is. And honestly, that's truthfully the best part of entrepreneurship is that you can have that flexibility and ability.
Yeah,
to create something new
and the creativity,
right? Yeah. And the time and ability to then do it, and then the time and flexibility to not be stuck at a 40-hour work week job. You can enjoy your family like you did from the beginning. Like there's so many amazing things, and I think more and more people are seeing that now. You can enjoy your life. You can still work your 40 hours, but you can work them how you want. And you might be working at nights and early mornings and whatever, but you get to enjoy your life more with the kids, with the family, the things you'll never be able to take back in your last days of life and say, oh, I wish I worked more. You're going to wish you would spend more time with your kids, your loved ones, your people.
Well, for sure. Or at least leave them a legacy that involves helping people, right? And building community and creating love of life for people who are maybe getting older and might be a little bit sad about releasing their possessions, but now they have something good to do with them. They're benefiting someone who needs it, who's coming up behind them. And that's 1,000. Kind of a pay it forward mentality, and I think it's important. And so I think leaving that legacy is really key. And also having the boundaries around your time when you're an entrepreneur, because you can work 100 hours a week if you want to, but you have to make, choices that work for you and choices that work for your team, and make sure that, everybody's getting what they need while you still get rest. And you still get, to enjoy time. Like you said, it's really important. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the flexibility to be able to go from 100 hours and then 1 week you're working 10 hours or whatever it is. And then
go on a trip
to 40 and then you're back to, it's just such an incredible world we live in. Is there a skill you're trying to master right now or get better at?
Oh, a skill I'm trying to master right now is learning. I've had to go from 0 to 100 on learning about how apps are built, which there's a lot that I didn't know I didn't know. So, so I've really learned a lot this year on that. I'm really drinking from a fire hose, but, and then, of course, with launching it, there's a lot of new technology that I also need to implement to launch it, to be able to communicate with people and all of that. So, over the course of years, I dabbled in this and that, and now I'm becoming an expert in many, many of these things, so that's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm kind of a techie nerd girl anyway, so I really do enjoy it.
Yeah. The fact that you can launch an app in this world is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm going to launch an app. I'm going to get it built and I'm going to launch it.
Yeah. I got some really good coaching during COVID because I didn't like sitting still. I'm used to, being up and being at clients every day and out the door. And I couldn't be on many days, although I did work a bit during COVID because a lot of my older adults needed me to come. But because they wouldn't let their families into their assisted livings, but they would let workers in so I could go, which was really strange. But so I did work quite a lot during COVID, but I also, during my sitting still time, I got some really good advice. So that was super helpful. And it allowed me to architect the whole thing while I had, my brain that's usually running at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I could sit and do that. So it really was beneficial. COVID was a good thing for me. I mean, in terms of the shutdown, because it enabled me to sit and really think about how do I take what I do one-to-one with people and make it a one-to-many model.
What's next? Yeah. What's next with this?
How do I really blow it out of the water? Like get it everywhere
and replicate
and get it in everybody's minds.
It's almost impossible to replicate yourself, right? Today we can't replicate yourself, but now you can somewhat replicate the process of what you're doing with people at scale, facilitate the charities it's going to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, if you could do this with food too, this would be a huge.
We're going to. It's
because food is they say 40% of the food, people are throwing their food away, and it's like, dude, this is crazy. You guys are spending $200 at the grocery store and throwing $70 away.
Well, or just imagine. Imagine if you're Panera Bread at the end of a day,
and you have
all this extra, and you can go on the app and say, "Oh, look who has their flag on for bread today. There's this charity, and this charity." And they can literally go deliver it.
That would be huge.
Yeah,
I always thought that would be a big one because it's a more liquid one, but it's actually bigger. It's actually way bigger because it's way bigger.
Yeah, and it'll be part of this as well. We're going to
grocery stores too, because I know someone that works in the grocery industry. They have to throw away all their meat at the end of the day, just incinerate it.
And
hundreds of thousands of dollars of meat just thrown away.
yeah,
And
that's
then
why
so they're
we're
going to
really
raise your,
trying to
they're going to raise your costs to
Mhm.
do that. But the whole point is, if you could figure out a way to give it, then less people will be hungry. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? Let's go.
Yeah. It's all in there. It's all
in the
coming.
plan, huh? I can already see it. You got the vibe. Let's go.
Yeah.
So tell me this: where would be the best place for us to send people to learn more about the app? I think it's lovebigger.com. Is that correct?
Yes, it's at lovebigger.com. It'll be available very shortly on the App Store. We're starting in Michigan, although it'll be accessible. People can download, and then as soon as we're available in your area, you get a little notice that pops up.
Right.
But we're doing Love Bigger on the App Store, on Google Play Store, and then lovebigger.com is the website, which will have a fully functional embedded app in it as well. So people can work from their iPads and other devices that way.
And then also for the cleaning business, if someone is
Clean Sweep
interested in that,
Consulting. Yeah, that's
cleansweepconsulting.net. And
yes.
you have all sorts of awesome services, like I said, home organizing, moving services, and downsizing. But you've taken this business and taken it way to the next level with this Love Bigger. I absolutely love this idea. This is incredible.
Yeah.
And the food one, if you can figure that one out too, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
You're talking game changer, my girl. Let's go.
I know. A couple of the charities have been really excited. They're like, wow, some people spent their COVID vacation cleaning out their closets and you spent it changing our industry.
Dude, that gives me goosebumps. That's awesome. That's cool.
That is what I'm going for.
Not everybody's doing that. So that's something that definitely makes you unique in this world. And I very much thank you for that. Thank you so much for changing the world in your light, in your way, using that time that we were all locked down to give back to. And now, like I said, people can do at scale. And if you, once the labs launch, it'll be Detroit, Michigan. Before you know it, it'll be your state's available soon.
Oh, yeah.
So I appreciate you. I thank you so much for your time today. And folks, you've been hanging out with Jennifer Hurt and Travis Too Tall and Huff. We want to thank you again for your time, and let's keep being real. What another epic episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening today. Do you want to get featured on podcasts, guys? You can be a guest. And that's right. You have a story, and the people, the good folks at I Love Podcasts. That's ILUV podcasts.com. Do that every single day. This is a new company, guys, in the space of podcast agency. And they realize a lot of the people in the space it's just a commodity, and they don't care. And these folks care. And I literally love Kenny and the team at I Love Podcasts, and they are doing it right for their customers. So you guys can be a guest on a show. ilovepodcast.com. That's ILUV podcasts.com. Let's go.